Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. The time has finally come and I am so excited to be setting up my new bullet journal for 2024. This year I will be using a notebook therapy journal as my main bullet journal. This is my first time using one of their journals, so I am extra super excited. For the first page, I thought it would be nice to write my channel name using my Sakura Pigma brush pen. Above the name, I'm using my alphabet stamps for the name introduction. Instead of "this journal belongs to," I wanted to say that this journal is from the library of. To cover up the "belongs to" text, I'm using this butterfly sticker from Notebook Therapy. Of course, as we all know, the second page in every journal must be glued together to avoid the infamous awkward pages. The first spread in this journal is a combination of a few typical spreads in one. It'll be my year page and it will also have my word of the year. To start, I'm drawing an oval frame. I want the frame to look old and magical. Think fairy tale mirror. Using my cutting mat and my craft knife, I'm cutting out the middle of the frame to create a window to the next page. Now, to add more detail to the frame, I'm using my metallic gold Sakura jelly roll pen and making dots all around the window. If you've ever seen an old storybook cover, you'll understand when I say that this page is meant to look like it's from an old fairy tale. To go with the cover page of the journal, I want to bring some of that moon magic into this spread. So for the page border, I'm using my Sakura Micron liner pen to draw a frame. The frame is pretty simple. I just looked up some old fairy tale book covers and kind of picked out a few different ones that inspired this pattern. At the top of the page, I've drawn the moon cycle to match the cover. I'm also adding some more details to the window frame before I continue with the inside of the window. I normally use about 2 journals a year, so I like to label them by volume. This journal will be volume 1 for 2024. And I don't think it comes as a surprise that my word of the year is magic. There's magic in everything, you just have to look. Now, I did forget to stamp the year, but I'll come back and do that later. Next, I'll be setting up my year at a glance as well as my table of contents. For the year at a glance, I will only be including the first 6 months of the year because this journal will most likely only last for half of the year. The art for this page was inspired by the Notebook Therapy Moonlit Alchemy washi tape, but instead of a butterfly, I decided to draw a moth instead. The rest is just little doodles of stars and the moon to fill up the space. For the month titles, I'm using my Perfect Imprint stamps. I always find writing out the dates of the months quite meditative if you really get into the zone. Now for the table of contents page, I'm doing a little collage in the corner using some journal paper and washi tape. You'll see I really play around with the position of the washi tape until I find a spot where it feels right. And also sometimes I end up removing some of it too, like the thin washi tape. I end up removing that later on. Here I'm using a sticker to fill in the empty corner. For the contents, each month will be a new chapter, so I'll write the page number next to the month. Up next is one of my most important spreads at the beginning of a journal, my future log. Here is where I plan out my year and write all of the most important events, holidays, birthdays, and scheduled videos for my channel. Usually I do a vertical future log, but this year I want to try a horizontal layout. Once again, I'm only planning for the first 6 months. For the month title, I'm using my purple Sakura koi brush pen with the alphabet stamps to match the purple in the washi tape and stickers. In all my previous period trackers, I've only tracked the days that I'm on my period. But this year, there are a few different symptoms that I want to track. So I do have a key that I'll be using this year. My period tracker will also only be for the first 6 months because I don't really like going back into a previous journal to use just one tracker. I'd rather just make a new tracker in my next journal. For the actual tracker, I'm drawing these little circles with my ruler, and yes, this did take quite a while to do. To go with the moon theme, I decided to also include the moon phases in this tracker. For some reason, I always like to have my goals for the year near my period tracker. Maybe because when I'm feeling a little small and down, I can remember to look at the bigger picture. Here I've used the piece of paper that I ripped off earlier while decorating the table of contents page. Once again, I'm just playing around with the position of the washi tape until I find where it fits. For my goals this year, I have 4 main areas that I want to think about. My creative goals, my crafts, my personal goals, and my media goals. Now, I won't be sharing all of these as some of these are private, but I'm sure you get the idea. It's best to break up your goals into smaller sections so that they're easier to focus on. I don't know about you, but I need a place to plan any purchases that I want or need to make. So on this page, I'll be setting up my wish list. I'm starting by gluing craft paper to the page that looks like a page from a book, and then layering some washi tape around the borders. Sorry, I unfortunately had a bit of a lighting malfunction here, but it won't be too long. I'm using my brush pen to write out the title as well as the two sections. I'm splitting my wish list into two categories: things that I want and things that I need. The first one usually has the most items. Here we are back to normal lighting again. Sorry about that. For the doodles next to the title, I'm keeping with the moon theme, but also adding a little space element to it. Finishing off this page with a galaxy washi tape from Libby Washi Tape. For the next page, I will be making my book tracker in the style of a library card. Now, I will actually be setting up a reading journal this year, but I still want to have this list in my main bullet journal for tracking the books that I've already read in the first 6 months of the year. Here, I've cut and glued an envelope to fit the page, and for decoration, I'm adding this circle craft paper that looks like an old letter cutout. I'm also using one of the notebook therapy stickers. For my book tracker, I wanted to make something that looks like an old library card. So I'm using a cream dot paper to make it stand out from the white paper that's in this journal. For the heading, I'm using my alphabet stamps. I still remember my mom used to always take me to our local library to go and borrow some books, and I always loved using my little library card. The tracker is very simple. I only write the title and the date that I started reading the book, and then the date that I finished the book. And then I can give it a star rating out of 5. And here it just perfectly fits into its pocket. The last 2 yearly spreads in this setup is my 2024 challenges page and my gaming tracker. Starting with the challenges for 2024, this is a simple challenge page where I can write a few things that I want to try out, as well as any bad habits that I want to try and quit. For example, I can write that I want to try cycling every day for a month, or read every night before I go to bed. And I can also write down a reward that I can give myself if I'm able to complete the challenge. I'm using this thin washi tape from my Libby Galaxy washi tape set to frame the page and a few stickers for decoration. The final page for my 2024 journal setup is my gameplay tracker. Here is where I can track all the PC games that I play during the year, or at least during these first 6 months, as well as rate the games out of 5 stars, just like my reading tracker. For the title, I've used my Sakura koi brush pens in pink and blue to make this glitchy style font. The stickers I'm using remind me of fantasy RPG games, which are my favorite kinds of games. And there you have it, my 2024 journal setup in my new notebook therapy journal. I hope that you've enjoyed this setup. If you'd like to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for my January setup coming soon. As always, I hope that you have a very crafty day. Bye!